a building or a few buildings together surrounded with streets around the block, it would be the same thing back then. You can see that there is a street between us, the synagogue, and the houses, right? And you see there is also a street over there, separates between that block and the other block in the other side, you see? And probably there was also a street there where today people are walking. So it was surrounded with streets. You can see people used to live in small rooms. Of course, back then you couldn't have very, very large spaces, not by design, but also people were poor, basically, in this area. And many families would live one beside the other. Normally, they will be relatives, okay? It's large family. I don't know if you're aware of it, but today, also if you go to an Arabic village, for example, you see large houses. In these large houses, it's not that there is a couple with 2 kids, but there is the grandparents who live there, and then another section in the building belongs to their married kids already. Each one of them has his own section with his family, and if the grandchildren are already growing up, so they also live around. So it's a whole family that lives in the same area more or less, even same buildings, large buildings many times. It would be the same thing 2,000 years ago. You have your family, your relatives, everyone is living one beside the other. You can see some small rooms. Normally, they would have few rooms. It means in one room you're gonna sleep, in one room you are cooking. Many times they would have like an open courtyard between the houses, okay? So you can have some open courtyards between. Now, first of all, you can see that, okay? And now think about Jesus. Okay, Jesus is here, Jesus is also in other places, but we see that thousands of people are following Jesus the whole time. Now, you see that his disciples, what they try to do, and I think it's a very natural thing to do, it's to prevent the people from reaching Jesus. Okay? Imagine today, you go with your pastor, or you as a pastor walk, and imagine that for 24 hours, people are trying to reach you, and to touch you, and to grab you, and to ask for things, and so on. And you walk, you walk from one place to another. You want to go to eat, you want to go to the toilet, you want to go to sleep, but thousands of people are around you. And you walk with your disciples, what they're going to do? Okay, everyone, let him pass, Move to the side, don't stop him, don't talk to him, don't bother him. What does Jesus say? Don't stop them. Let them come. Imagine how much energy Jesus had to spend. Imagine 24 hours a day, hundreds of people and thousands of people try to reach him. And he's ready, he's for the people. He never says to anyone, leave me alone, come tomorrow. No, he's there for the people. And he tells the disciples, don't stop them, let them come. Now imagine Jesus is here, okay? He's in Capernaum, right? And he's in one of these houses. Sits here maybe with the Pharisee and talks to him. He sits maybe with his disciples and he talks to them. And now there are 1,000 people, not 5,000 or 20,000 that were in different occasions. 1,000 people try to reach him. Imagine Jesus is in that room down there. Is there any chance to reach him? It's impossible. You can imagine that all the small courtyards are full, packed with 50 people here and 50 people there, and 200 people standing around the complex, and few hundreds are around trying to also hear and see where is he, right? And now you have your friend, and he can't even walk. And you want to help him, and you want to reach Jesus. There is no chance to pass here in this narrow street. So what you're going to do? You're going to climb over the roof and carry him with his bed and actually jump from one roof to another. And the roof back then, it was from branches, and some logs. So you will open the roof and with ropes actually lay down there your friend with the bed. It was their only way. And Jesus could see their faith according to their acts. They proved actually their faith. He could see that. I don't know what was the response of the one who owns the house and they destroyed it. At least Jesus doesn't say anything against them, right? He don't say, don't you shame, to come like that? Did I invite you here? No. He looked at their hearts, actually. He looked at their actions and he heals them, the man. So see what a great friends he also had, this guy. Now, this is one thing that we can see and understand when you only see how people used to live, and you can understand now the whole story much better. Another thing is, as an example that Jesus talks about, willing to give and help each other. He says, you know, you're at night, you're about to sleep, right? And your neighbor comes and knocks on the door. Now, back then, families were with 6 kids, 8 kids, 10 kids, who knows how many, quite many. Imagine a whole family. It's not that each one has his own bedroom, like today. Everyone sleeps together, normally on the floor. Imagine, take one of these rooms that you see down below you, and put now a whole family that sleeps there with, let's say, 6 kids. I have, you know, now a baby, and she is 20 months. And I have also a child who is 5 and 7 and 4, okay? You can imagine it takes time to the kids to fall asleep, right? And all of you as parents also remember these hard nights when the baby is crying and crying and crying and you are getting crazy. Okay, please, you know, fall asleep. Now you can imagine that finally after, I don't know, half an hour or 3 hours, the whole family is quietly sleeping inside. You know, the parents are happy. They finally, you know, lay down. Relax, and then
midnight. It was midnight.
I'm sure that, oh no, who is there? You know, first of all, maybe something happened. If someone knocks, you know, in the middle of the night on your door, maybe something happened. But they are standing up, you know, praying that no kid will awake. Start to walk towards the door. There is no electricity like today. You cannot just switch the light on, right? So you need to walk carefully and not to step on anyone. You get closer to the door and you like open the door, and now maybe the oldest boy just woke up and asked, hey mommy, who is there? And like, shh, quiet, 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 you know, stay quiet. And he's, who is there? And then the baby wakes up and starts to cry. And you are there in the door and what do you want? And your neighbor comes and says, hey, look, some friends came to visit me and I need some food, right? Now, today we think, what's the problem? You know, just giving such an example, you know, your neighbor is come at night, he knocks on the door, you go to the refrigerator, turns on the light. Please, my friend, whatever you want, you can take, right? It's very easy. Back then, there is no refrigerators. You need to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning in order to start and make the flour and the bread and the food, okay? And people were poor people, so whatever you had to eat was for yourself and for your family. But Jesus said, no, you should give, right? You should. Now, he talks about food, he talks about waking up in the middle of the night, but the whole concept is to be willing to give, if it's time, if it's effort, right? If it's energy, and if it's from the things that you need actually, not from the extras, but to give to others. And you can see this example, and when you see the location and you understand how people used to live, you can understand the whole concept much better than just wake up at night and give some food to your friend. Okay? So this is what Jesus is talking about by giving, as an example. And you can see it very nice through here. Let's continue now to walk to the other side. We just walked 1 minute maybe from the synagogue. It's even less than 1 minute if you just open the door of the synagogue and walk here. And if you remember, it says that when Jesus was in the synagogue, releasing the demon from this person, it says that immediately after that, he went out and entered into Peter's house, or Peter's mother-in-law's house. Okay? So you can see the synagogue, you can imagine the whole thing. Jesus is there, hundreds of people around, the disciples is going out and entering into one of the buildings.